Times Reacts, back with another video. Today we have 10 stupidest reasons for WWE firings. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. We on the road to 200 subscribers. Feel like I've been saying that for a little while now. But if y'all like, comment, subscribe, that'll push me in the algorithm. Also, sharing the video will help your boy get out there in the algorithm more too. Let's get right into the video though. Videos made by Cultaholic Wrestling. Please go subscribe to him as well. Great channel for when it comes to wrestling content.
I'm sure we've all been fired in what we would consider a stupid or unjust way. I know I have. I mean, so a few highly poisonous snakes somehow get out of their containers and disappear into the night. How exactly is that my fault? The petting zoo was quite clearly in the wrong to let me go.
Wait, this a true story? You got me invested, bro. Is this a true story?
Over a simple mistake that anyone could have made. But I find it hard to feel too hard done by when I recall some of the ludicrous reasons WWE stars have gotten the same.
But that is a valid
because
reason
in
to
Vince
fire you,
McMahon's
especially if it's
mental
your fault,
make-believe
'cause that's
world, you can
carelessness.
be let go for just about anything. Sneezed during a production meeting? See you later. Said the phrase title belt instead of championship, did ya? Don't let the door hit.
It's really a belt. So what are you... The reason I'm making today's video, WWE been doing a lot of controversial releases lately. So I wanted to get into stupid reasons why wrestlers were getting fired. That's the reason I wanted to make this.
You on the way out? Defecate in a colleague's bag, eh? Well, you wouldn't get fired for that, naturally, but there are numerous different and very stupid ways to receive your marching orders from the powers that be. Plenty to pick from, but the following are, in their own unique ways, the most absurd. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com, and these are the 10 stupidest reasons for WWE firings.
For sure, let me hear
Join us. Number 10, Robbie McAllister. Wait a minute, what is Derek Graham Couch doing in the Impact Zone? Good question. Although a better question would be, who the hell is Derek Graham Couch, and why should I care that he was shown sitting in the audience during an Impact Wrestling taping in March of 2008? Well, Derek Graham Couch is the real name of Robbie McAllister, who formed one half of the Highlanders tag team in WWE. He was backstage visiting mates who worked for the competition and decided to stay and watch the show.
Okay, think about it from Vince's perspective. To me, this didn't belong in the video because that's a valid reason to fire him. Like, Vince probably looked at it like, what is he doing in a rival company's place of work? And especially if he was backstage, maybe Vince thought, they was negotiating something for him to leave WWE and come to TNA. So in my opinion, this is not a dumb reason to fire him because in essence, he's at the competition's place of work.
TNA not about to let such a golden opportunity to get one over on WWE slip away.
And they probably showed him in the crowd on purpose. Yup, and then they put WWE wrestler. Yup.
To show him on screen, referring to him by his real name in order to avoid a lawsuit.
And then, like, you notice he's covering up his face because he knows he's not supposed to be there.
Immediately, which he did. The damage was done though, as Robbie lost his $5,000 WrestleMania paycheck over the incident and was chewed out by senior locker room members like Finlay and The Undertaker. Both members of the Highlanders were released just a few months later. Robbie subsequently said that he knew it was a dumb thing to do and felt like
that's why he was trying to hide his
did it in
face.
order to get his pink slip because he was so unhappy in WWE at the time.
Okay,
Number
you know what? It
9,
kind of makes sense now. Cause I'm like, you knew you was doing that. That's gonna get you fired. So I mean, but he was looking for a way out. So it actually makes some logical sense.
When Lindsay K. Hayward walked through the door, WWE must have smelled money. Standing at 6 feet and 9 inches tall, the woman who portrayed Isis the Amazon on the independent circuit was just the sort of attraction that WWE looks for. The giantess looked like Chyna and the Big Show had a baby, and she was snapped up by WWE for the all-female season of NXT The Game Show in 2010. She was by no means a great in-ring performer, but all of that could come later, since she was only in her early 20s when she put pen to paper for Vince's outfits. She was officially advertised for NXT and paired up with her pro, Vicky Guerrero. Then her WWE career was over before it had a chance to begin, as she was abruptly released from her contract.
Why?
On screen, Vicky said that she fired her rookie over disagreements between the pair, and internally, the suggestion was that Hayward wasn't quite ready for television. The real reason, however, was that she posed for some suggestive pictures in the past, and WWE only found out about them later. Considering WWE literally had their
I'm about to
divas
say, this
posing
is
you
like,
for Playboy.
they don't remember the Playboy era of WWE, where the whole diva era, that's the epitome of that. So like, what make, oh, it's WWE ran and WWE has a say so in it. So I guess that's why, but like, this is kind of dumb if you think about it, to fire her over.
At one point,
because
reeked of
at first I was like, yeah, I can kind of see it, but looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, that's her fault.
hypocrisy.
I mean, that's
but
WWE
with a
fault.
new squeaky clean PG image to project, there was no room for nipples anymore. Number 8, Shawn Stasiak. Big things were likely expected of the son of the former WWF champion. You better believe that's 3 Fs, baby. Stan the Man Stasiak. Shawn certainly had the youth, the look, and the talent to make it far, but saddled with the raunchy meat gimmick, essentially the plaything for a group of women that included Terry Runnels and Jacqueline, he wasn't going to have The Rock and Triple H looking over their shoulders. The character wasn't great, but Stasiak certainly didn't help himself with his backstage conduct either. He was suspended in December of '99 for recording a heated conversation between Davey Boy Smith and Steve Blackman, now there's a fight I'd like to see, playing it back for them later as a rib. Stasiak claims that he did this as a joke and had the tape machine with him in order to practice his promo skills, but his colleagues weren't convinced and felt that he must be some sort of insider selling off
like some
information
kind of
to
agent.
then their dirt sheets. So, he was fired. Amazingly, after being rehired following the demise of WCW, Stasiak managed to irk his co-workers once more when he revealed to a reporter that he and a bunch of other invaders would be making an appearance at WrestleMania 17, even though WWE wanted that fact to remain a secret. The company would go on to cancel their involvement, and our man spent the invasion...
So that's what I'm saying. That's not really a stupid reason. Like, I'm not... The last one I can kind of understand, but a lot of these don't give me stupid reason type of vibes. So I kind of disagree with it being stupid.
Playing a putz. Number 7, Serena. Some will claim that kayfabe is dead, and considering Kane's a mayor,
I know why
and the
she
Undertaker...
got fired. Basically, the straight edge society, she went against that, so they actually fired her. But I guess WWE needs to bring back kayfabe, which I feel like them breaking kayfabe all the time is hurting it. So I kind of feel it to a certain degree, but like, you got people like Kane, who's a mayor, but on WWE TV, he's this demonic character. I don't know.
And now does online prank shows, it's quite hard to disagree with that assessment. To some, however, adherence to living the gimmick and protecting the business is still paramount. It certainly was to WWE decision makers in the summer of 2010, since they let go of Serena Deb for failing to keep kayfabe. Serena was, at that point, a member of CM Punk's Straight Edge Society, and as a member of the group, was expected to abstain from consuming alcohol or other illicit substances in public. However, Serena was spotted drinking at the bar numerous times. On television, WWE even ran an angle where Punk showed her CCTV footage of her doing just that before chastising her for it, perhaps as a veiled message to the person behind the persona to start ordering Pepsi instead. Serena didn't take eventually fired over her outside the ring behavior, which is a little bit silly when you think about it, since she was a fully grown adult playing a fictional character on television.
I guess
WWE felt different.
It sounds kind of silly, but at the same time, yeah, it sounds kind of silly. I tried to justify it at first in the beginning of this one, but at the end of the day, it ain't like she was on some kind of illegal substance. It's just her drinking. I mean, yeah, I got my issues with drinking because I feel like alcohol and like when you're drunk, it does worse to you than getting high does. Cause it's like that's why I'm not really a fan of it.
Though, and didn't want to ruin the illusion of the straight edge society, so they canned her instead. Number 6, Matt Hardy. Imagine being out on the shelf for about a year with a major knee injury. Imagine the woman you believe to be the love of your life cheating on you while you recover from that injury with the man you considered to be one of your closest friends. Imagine being fired because of it. Hey, look at that. You're Matt Hardy in 2005. The sensei of Mattitude discovered the affair as he was rehabbing at home, and after confronting Lita about it, broke the news to the world. Going on the defensive online, Matt perhaps didn't handle the situation in the most professional manner, but most sympathized with his plight. Not WWE.
He's being cheated on. There's no proper way to handle that. Like, if he went out to WWE and fight Edge over that, he has every right, because that's someone you look to and esteem as a friend. So like he broke the code. It ain't like he's just some regular smuggler WWE co-worker. This is someone you called a friend. So I respectfully understand where he's coming from.
Though, who washed their hands of Hardy. Fans in arenas and online began bombarding WWE, Edge, and Lita with abuse to the point that the company had no choice but to put the illicit lovers together as an on-screen act. In the end, WWE caved into the demands of fans and re-signed Matt, who immediately began a blurry work-shoot feud with the rated R superstar. Hardy would remain with the company for many more years, but the reason for his dismissal and the manner in which it was handled still raised eyebrows, with Matt himself pointing out how unjust it all seemed in a series of post-release interviews. Number 5? There are, of course, many justifiable reasons for suspensions and firings, with criminal activity being one of the primary ones. Many wrestlers have been let go in the past for drug busts, public fighting, and other crimes and misdemeanors. So WWE firing Emma in June of 2014 over the apparent theft of an iPad case seemed fair, at least on the surface. However, soon after she...
iPad, bro, you're a million. I'm pretty sure they make millions. You stealing an iPad case? Are you okay?
Was wished well in her future endeavors, the details of the arrest emerged. Turns out this wasn't a case of sticky fingers, but rather errant technology, as Emma had intended to pay for the item at a Walmart self-checkout machine, but that it hadn't properly scanned. Now aware of the context and feeling pressure from fans who were expressing their anger at the firing online, WWE rehired Emma just hours after letting her go. In the end, she was ordered to perform 1 day of community service and complete an online class as charges against her were dismissed. The whole situation was rather odd, but it showed that WWE can be guilty of acting without first knowing all of the facts. Not hiring Emma back would have been criminal, more so than inadvertently nicking a bloody iPad case anyway.
Yeah, it was
Number 4, Frankie Kazarian. If you've been a successful star in another promotion, the chances are that WWE and Vince McMahon are going to want to mold you in their image once you make it to their company. You could get a new name or a new gimmick, and you might be instructed to wrestle a different style or do promos in a new way. You may also be asked to change your appearance, whether it's getting a tan, putting on a little muscle, or cutting your hair. Of course, Vinny can't hold you down in the barber's chair and give you a short back and sides himself, but he can suggest that you trim that mullet. Antonio Banderas lookalike Frankie Kazarian was asked to go short when he signed in 2005, fresh off a run in TNA. John Laurinaitis brought it up to the current AEW star, who outright refused the request. Now, he wasn't exactly fired for saying no, rather he was so offended by the question that he asked for his release, which was granted since WWE were miffed at his insubordination anyway.
So because he didn't want to cut his hair, he asked to be fired. See, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, he kind of asked for it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, maybe his hair means something. Maybe his hair mean that much to him. So it's like, I kind of understand, like, but like realistically, there's still a segment of WWE fans that don't know about a lot of these other promotions. So like when they come in with the same hair and the same body type, sometimes fans don't know unless they were a mega star in that other company like AJ Styles or somebody like Bobby Roode or something like that.
A lot of wrestlers would probably do a lot more than cut hair to become WWE stars, so Frankie's vehement protest must have been puzzling to many. He's since said in subsequent years that he was too immature to be in WWE at that time and would do things differently knowing what he knows now. Number 3, Finlay. There aren't many wrestlers out there that command more respect than Finlay. The third-generation star has built his reputation as a tough, no-nonsense worker over the course of several bruising decades in Europe, Japan, and in WCW and WWE. He's also admired for his training abilities as the man who overhauled the WWE women's division in the early 2000s.
He's one of those wrestlers who trains a lot of the new up-and-coming stars. Like we talk about Shawn Michaels being a heavy influence. We talk about William Regal being a heavy influence. Finlay's up there too when it comes to influence in training wrestlers of the future and of the present. Finlay is a strong
case. His experience and standing within the industry have also made him in demand as a backstage producer, helping wrestlers put together their matches, or on occasion, making sure entire events run smoothly. It was during one such event that the Fighting Irishman was overseeing that he made a mistake that cost him his job. In March of 2011, Finlay was the agent for a house show and authorized The Miz interrupting the pre-show playing of the American national anthem. Regrettably, the heat-seeking stunt offended many in the audience, including members of the National guard.
Dang.
Though the intention was to get The Miz booed, which shouldn't really be too difficult since he has the most punchable face on the planet, WWE weren't about to sully their relationship with the US Armed Forces, and so they let the veteran go.
I didn't know about
Finlay,
this.
for his part, accepted responsibility, even though inside he must have been wondering what the hell the wrestling business had even come to. He was hired back the following year. Number 2.
Daniel Bryan choked out the ring announcer with the tie.
Bryan. You spend years doing great work, putting on excellent matches all over the world, and then the one time you're shown choking a ring announcer with his tie, you're labelled a prat. And that's the game. Daniel Bryan had been fired by WWE once before when he was stationed in their developmental system, but spent the years after growing into one of the best all-round talents in the world.
Yeah,
his exploits in Japan and for other companies like Ring of Honor put the American Dragon back on WWE's radar, and they signed him in the summer of 2009. A participant on the debut series of NXT The Game Show, Bryan was belittled for being an indie darling and not eating meat and such like, which must have spurred him on to join up with the rest of the Nexus in attacking WWE superstars and other personnel in their anarchic main roster debut. Unfortunately, D-Bry went a little bit too far when he tried to garrote Justin Roberts and was fired a few days later for being too violent.
And then the in-ring angle was, yeah, it's a wrestling show, being violent on a wrestling show. But the angle was he felt remorseful for injuring a ring announcer.
On a wrestling show, after he and the rest of the Nexus had been instructed to destroy everything. Make sense? Anyway, once the message had been sent to the sponsors and the heat had cooled off, Bryan was rehired a couple of months later and returned in the main event of SummerSlam.
Yeah, he was the mystery.
Number 1, Dawn Marie. Great strides have been made thanks to the women's evolution in WWE, but the organization's female performers weren't always so well respected or well cared for. In the dark days before they were breaking barriers and main eventing WrestleMania, the so-called divas of WWE were more likely to be brought out for a bikini contest or a cat fight. Their physical appearance was the primary concern of higher-ups, and at the first sight of cellulite or crow's feet, they would typically move on to a younger model. And I mean that literally, since WWE had a penchant for hiring models with little or no wrestling knowledge or experience. Dawn Marie, who rose to fame in ECW and then had some memorable storylines on WWE television in the early 2000s, was on the fringes in 2005 when she announced that she was pregnant. Despite being with child, she still appeared at the One Night Stand pay-per-view before going on maternity leave. Less than a month later, she was P45'd along with several other WWE stars, despite allegedly being given assurances that her job was safe. While she got the requisite creative has nothing
that's how jobs will do you, man. That's why I'm really hoping that this YouTube thing takes off, because I don't want to have to be relying on other people for the rest of my life. You know, like, and I want to show people that you don't have to take everything the traditional way. Like, I know I'm not smart enough for college or whatnot, and I try to get that over to people, but they are like, they don't understand that. And with work, I don't mind hard work, but I don't want to be doing that the rest of my life. So back to the point, jobs are firing you and assure you, oh, you take your break, you come back, they got somebody in your place. That's how it be, though.
Excuse. Most felt it was because Marie was going to be out of action for a while and that her body would change due to the pregnancy. Rightly agreed, Dawn later sued WWE and filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. That was settled out of court, but the firing remains one of WWE's most boneheaded, especially from a PR perspective.
Alright, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I just noticed, like, I'm W to him for not having this screen. Like, he kind of moved what was on the screen somewhere else, which, smart idea. I wish more YouTubers would start doing that. But anyway, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. We on the road to 200 subscribers. Comment the dumbest reason you ever been fired, and I'm out. Peace.